The life you're living right now, the person you think you are, the reality you see when you look in the mirror. What if I told you none of it is real? You wake up every morning and put on a face. Not literally, but you do. You become the version of yourself that the world expects. The responsible one, the capable one, the one who has it together. You go to work. You smile at the right moments. You say the things people want to hear. And from the outside, it looks fine. It looks like you're living. But inside, there's a voice that whispers in the quiet moments. A voice that says, "This isn't me. This isn't my life. When did I become this person?" You look around at your life and nothing feels wrong. Exactly. You have a job, a routine, people know your name, but none of it feels real. It's like you're watching yourself from the outside, going through motions you didn't choose, playing a role you never auditioned for. And the strangest part? You can't remember when it started. When did you stop being yourself and start being this? When did you trade authenticity for acceptance? When did you learn to smile while dying inside? You scroll through social media and see people who seem so sure of themselves, so certain, so real. And you wonder, what's wrong with me? Why does everyone else seem to know who they are while I'm just pretending? You built an entire life, but it doesn't feel like yours. It feels like a costume you can't take off, a performance you can't stop, an illusion so convincing that even you start to believe it. And late at night, when the world goes quiet and there's no one left to perform for, you feel it, the emptiness, the unreality of it all, the sense that you've been living someone else's life and calling it your own. Carl Jung spent his life studying a question that haunts us all. Who are you when no one is watching? And what he discovered was both liberating and terrifying. He discovered that most people never answer that question because they never stop performing long enough to ask it. Jung called this performance the persona. It's the mask you wear to survive in the world, the version of yourself you present to others so they'll accept you, respect you, leave you alone, or love you. And here's the thing, the persona isn't bad. You need it. Society demands it. You can't walk through the world completely unfiltered. But the problem starts when you forget you're wearing it. When the mask becomes so comfortable that you forget there's a face underneath. When you've been pretending for so long that you can no longer tell the difference between performance and the truth. Jung said, the persona is a complicated system of relations between the individual and society. Fittingly enough, a kind of mask, but one runs the risk of becoming identical with the persona. In other words, you become the lie. You wake up one day and realize you spent decades building a life that looks impressive from the outside, but means nothing to you on the inside, because it's not your life. It's the life you thought you were supposed to live, the career your parents approved of, the personality people responded well to, the version of yourself that kept the peace, earned the praise, and avoided conflict. But none of it is real. And Jung understood that this is where the suffering comes from, not from external circumstances, but from the disconnect between who you are and who you're pretending to be. You're living in an illusion so complete that you've convinced yourself it's reality. And the longer you stay in it, the more hollow you become, because you can't build a real life on a false foundation. You can't find meaning in a performance, and you can't ever feel whole while rejecting the parts of yourself that don't fit the script. But the illusion goes deeper than just a persona, because while you're busy performing who you think you should be, there's another part of you that's been locked away. Jung called it the shadow. It's everything you rejected about yourself. Every emotion you were told was unacceptable. Every desire you were taught to be ashamed of. Every part of your personality that didn't fit the image you were trying to project. The anger, the neediness, the selfishness, the weakness, all of it gets pushed down into the darkness. And you tell yourself, that's not me. I'm not like that. But here's what Jung understood. The shadow doesn't disappear just because you refuse to look at it. It just operates from the darkness. It leaks out in ways you don't expect. In the sudden outburst you can't explain. In the self-destructive choice you make despite knowing better. In the judgment you project onto others. Jung said, everything that irritates us about others can lead us to an understanding of ourselves. Because what you hate in others is often what you've denied in yourself. The person who triggers you with their selfishness, you've been suppressing your own needs for years. The one who irritates you with their weakness, you've never allowed yourself to be vulnerable. The one who annoys you with their confidence, you've been hiding your own power. Your shadow is everything you couldn't afford to be and still survive. And as long as it remains unconscious, it controls you. You think you're making free choices, but you're just reacting to wounds you don't remember receiving. You think you know yourself, but you only know the version you've been allowed to show. And that version? It's an illusion, a carefully curated highlight reel of acceptable traits. While the real you, the complicated, contradictory, fully human you, remains locked in the basement, banging on the door, begging to be seen. But it's not just your personal illusion. Jung understood that we're all trapped in a collective illusion, a shared fantasy about what life is supposed to look like. Success, status, security, happiness. We're told from birth what we should want, what we should value, who we should become. And most people spend their entire lives chasing those things, never stopping to ask if they actually want them. You went to school because that's what you do. You got a job because that's what adults do. You bought the house, got the car, built the life, because that's what success looks like. But whose definition of success is that? Yours or theirs? Jung called this the collective unconscious. It's the inherited patterns, beliefs, and expectations that shape how we see the world. And it's so deeply embedded in us that we mistake it for our own thoughts. You think you chose your career, but did you? Or did you just follow the path that seemed most acceptable? You think you know what happiness looks like, but do you? Or are you just chasing an image you absorbed from culture, family, media? Most people are living someone else's dream and calling it their own, and they wonder why it feels empty. Why, no matter how much they achieve, it never feels like enough. Because you can't fill a void by becoming someone you're not. You can't find meaning by living someone else's definition of a meaningful life. Jung said, the shoe that fits one person pinches another. There is no recipe for living that suits all cases. But we keep trying to force ourselves into shoes that don't fit. We keep pretending the pain is normal. We keep telling ourselves, this is just what life is. But it's not. It's just the illusion we've all agreed to live inside. And the moment you see it for what it is, everything changes. Jung believed that there comes a moment in every person's life when the illusion starts to crack. It's not usually dramatic. It's a quiet realization, a feeling that something is deeply, fundamentally wrong, not with the world, but with the life you're living. You look around and nothing has changed, but suddenly you can't unsee it. The performance, the pretending, the hollow routine, all of it feels unbearable. And that feeling, that's not a breakdown. That's an awakening. Jung called this the beginning of individuation. It's the process of becoming who you actually are, not who you were told to be, not who you think you should be, but who you are beneath all the masks, all the conditioning, all the fear. And it starts with seeing the illusion for what it is. Seeing that the persona you've built is not you. Seeing that the life you're living is not yours. Seeing that you've been performing for so long that you forgot you were acting. This is terrifying, because once you see it, you can't unsee it. Once you recognize the illusion, you can't go back to believing in it. And that means you have a choice. You can keep performing, keep pretending, keep living the lie because it's familiar and safe. Or you can step into the unknown. You can take off the mask and risk showing the world who you really are. You can stop living the life you think you're supposed to live and start asking, what do I actually want? Jung said, the privilege of a lifetime is to become who you truly are. But that privilege comes with a cost. The cost of letting go of everything you thought you needed to be. The cost of disappointing people who loved a version of you that wasn't real. The cost of walking away from a life that looks good on paper but feels like death on the inside. And most people aren't willing to pay that cost. So they stay in the illusion. They keep the mask on. They keep the performance going. And they die never knowing who they actually were. So let me ask you 3 questions. Not to answer out loud, but to sit with, to feel in the places you've been avoiding. First, who would you be if no one was watching? If there were no expectations, no judgments, no consequences? If you could strip away every layer of performance and pretending, who was the person underneath? Do you even know anymore? Second, what part of yourself have you been hiding because you're afraid it won't be accepted? The anger? The sadness? The wild, unfiltered truth of who you are? What would happen if you let that part out? What are you really afraid of? Third, if you woke up tomorrow and the life you're living disappeared, would you rebuild it exactly the same? Or would you finally admit that you've been living an illusion, that the life you have is not the life you want, and the person you become is not the person you are? Jung once wrote, your visions will become clear only when you can look into your own heart. Who looks outside dreams, who looks inside awakes. And that's what this is about. Waking up, not to a better life, not to a perfect version of yourself, but to reality, to the truth of who you actually are beneath the performance. The life you're living right now might look real, but if it doesn't feel real, then it's not. It's an illusion, a story you've been telling yourself for so long that you forgot it was fiction. And you can keep living in it. You can keep performing, keep pretending, keep hoping that one day it will finally feel right. Or you could do the most terrifying, liberating thing a human being can do. You can take off the mask. You can stop performing. You can look in the mirror and ask, who am I when I stop pretending? And whatever answer comes back, even if it's messy, complicated, nothing like what you thought, that's the truth. And the truth, no matter how uncomfortable, is the only place where real life can begin. Jung knew this. And now, so do you? The illusion is cracking. The question is, are you brave enough to let it shatter? If something in this felt true, if you recognize yourself in these words, then you're already awake. You're already seeing the illusion. And once you see it, there's no going back, only forward, into the unknown, into the truth, into yourself.